maybe not was he wasn't thrilled with Javin White, wasn't thrilled with Tanner Muse, as far as that goes. And I think he is definitely getting the autonomy, and he is the supreme ruler of that defensive unit, and saying, hey, listen,
Beautiful thing.
which is a beautiful thing. He's saying, John, like,
Yeah.
I know what you have here, but those
Yeah.
two guys, and it's a backup role, but backup roles are important, Ken and Sean, because as you know,
Oh,
you're not
yeah.
going to get through 17. Now it's 17 games,
No.
100% healthy. You're not. You're not.
No.
No question about
No, I like the Darren Lee signing. I mean, obviously he's a journeyman. I've seen him in the local Jets games. Whatever's on TV, we watch the local football games, and you see him. He's decent. I he's a depth player.
it. Yeah.
But what's crazy because there's so many linebackers on our team. Like who's going to be starting there other than
Good.
yeah, no, Kwiatkowski and what's it, Littleton. That's probably the only two guaranteed starters, right?
Morrow.
Maybe.
And Kuntz, he was drafted. Well, no, but
Oops,
more of
yeah,
the
we don't know. I mean,
Leo
there's so
position. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, there's gonna be some rotation in there. And you guys know I like Tanner Muse coming out of Clemson there, but
Right.
I just want the team to win. I don't care.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm excited to see when we get to training camp who makes noise. But the best thing we mentioned this a few shows ago is the best thing about this defense is there's depth. There's depth, not just
Right.
at all three levels, man. All three levels. So,
Yeah.
and it's going to drive competition,
Yeah.
and
There
there's no
is.
guarantees.
Yeah. There is a situation in every position where, like, if you're not doing your job, all right, deuces. Like, you know what I mean?
Expendable.
Like, you could
Yeah.
take the bench. Like,
Yeah.
because they don't, this defensive coaching staff does not owe you anything. Like, they don't
No.
know, they don't owe you nothing. So
Yeah. There's
it's
only a handful they drafted or acquired. The rest are,
exactly.
welcome to my conditions. And I think that's kind of what Cam was saying. Like the Darren Lee thing is like, hey, just bring them into the group, and there's nothing to lose or gain there. You're
Yeah,
really just pushing
exactly.
people and forcing people to rise to the top. As far as the leadership, yeah, Yannick, but I think Yannick, but I think with Carl Joseph and Casey Hayward, you have two guys that are like, hey, like I've done this, live this, breathe this. Hayward at a higher level, but Carl Joseph is really no slouch. I really think we should have retained him back then. So
I agree. I
I
agree.
I don't think he's all world. He's never going to show up on an all pro type of thing. He's got little injuries. He plays a little overly aggressive like Abram, but he's also able to play the field and space a little better. And he's a veteran at this point. So
A
there,
lot
there's
more under control than Abram.
absolutely more in control. Abram is, yeah, he's like a cat chasing a laser pointer. There's no somebody's got to get in his head and just like, this is what you need to do, and
I
that'll be
think
Ron Milas, that'll be
Yeah,
yeah.
Bradley. But
I
yeah,
thought it was interesting that he said also that the safety position, Gus Bradley said, is wide open. So you
it
can,
should be.
and
Yeah.
it should,
it should great. Yeah,
it
good.
absolutely, and that's what I want to
Earn
hear.
it,
It
earn it,
should be.
earn it,
It should be.
earn it.
But
Besides, even Morig, who we got in the second round, and thank God.
He
But you
looks
know
good.
what?
He's
Like,
looking good.
just because our defense is terrible, we can't just like give you a free ticket to the front. Like,
yeah,
earn it, put the work in.
I mean,
One
exactly.
one thing that oh man, I just lost my train of thought. Never mind. Oh, Milas. You mentioned Milas.
Yeah.
With all these players that they brought in, Hobbs is getting a lot of noise out there too.
Yep.
Arnett, they brought in what's his face for Hayward, to push Arnett. There's no guarantees, but I think kind of like with what Cable does, Tom Cable does with that offensive line. I feel like Milas is going to be doing that with the defensive backs, and he's got all these toys to play with. Um, so I'm really curious to see who's out there starting, and
Yeah.
that's going to be
So
interesting.
much.
Merrick looks like he's a ball hawk, but then you think about Carl Joseph, and then you think about Abram. Um, what's the tall? That's the other dude. You have all these possibilities out there, and it's going to be really interesting to see. And I'm hoping that it's not injury that causes somebody to get bumped up. I hope it's just competition that causes these guys to get bumped up.
Right.
Because we've sucked so bad in all three of these levels. I'd probably say the only person that has a guaranteed spot is probably Mullen. I would probably say Mullen. Trayvon
That's
Mullen.
oh yeah, I agree with you. I
That's
think
probably
Mullen,
it. I don't think
and
anybody else is guaranteed. And
I
the
think
whole
I mean,
yeah,
Isaiah
defense.
Johnson's not even there. Like, I mean, Divine, they didn't go into detail about Diablo, but it sounds like Diablo is hurt and he is not gonna be.
yeah, Gillespie, or sorry,
Gillespie's making noise too. You're right.
but
Yeah.
Gillespie's making noise as well. I mean, they love
he
him.
looks like a guy that like the window's open. So
Yeah, I mean, he's coming through.
hey, we don't care. Like we specifically like if the window's open. You win the camp battle, hey, you're out there. But I
Oh,
think I would think the way looking at now projecting, I think the defense will be improved, but I think we will see adjustments and movements and snap counts are going to change like week to week. I really just think there's no way in one off season you're just like figuring it all out. I think during the season, week 1 through week 6 or whatever, it's still going to be an ongoing tryout for who can come in and play their
it
roles.
should
It's
be
just
that way too.
and it should, right? It should. No one should get a pass, right? And I think Kwiatkowski, I think looking at what Gus does, I think Kwiatkowski's going to be in a very good position to kind of play off everything else they do. Underrated athlete, moves his hips well. He can guard people and he can come up and tackle. And hopefully his pectoral injuries, 100% healed. I think that's a guy to watch out for to really have like a sneaky role, a success story this season. But either way, hey man, it's a lot better than Paul Gunther season 4.
Exactly. He also mentioned how he loves the way Littleton sets the edge on that as well. So it should be fun. Listen, there's competition in his athleticism on the field. We're not asking the Eric Harrises of the world to make plays. You know, we're not watching that. Take off that 25 jersey, give it back to Justin Vargas. I'm tired. That was hard to watch. Anything from what Josh Jacobs had to say, I think this is a big year for Josh Jacobs, obviously money-wise. I think also for me, it's a big year where he can have an opportunity here, in my mind, to kind of do what he did at Alabama, because he was very successful in a two-back system. And this is definitely going to be a two-back system, and also going to be times where they both are on the field at the same time with he and Cameron Kenyon
Drake.
He also said that he wanted the guy to come here. So he talked about some things that Josh Jacobs said.
All right, I'm gonna throw in Sean. You threw in a hot take. I'm gonna throw in a really hot take here. This is good. I'm gonna get burned later on this, I'm sure.
I can't wait.
I love Josh Jacobs. I think he's one of the most exciting players we've had on this team for a long time. I love it. I think he's just exciting, and I'm glad that he's a Raider. Yeah. That being said,
yes,
I think that Kenyon Drake's gonna have a better season.
Ooh, I could see it.
Yeah, I think he's gonna have a better season. I don't know why. I just have a feeling he's gonna be utilized differently, and it's going to be, I think, touchdowns and yards. I think Drake's going to do better than Josh Jacobs. I don't know why. I just have a feeling.
Yeah, I mean, great. I love Josh. I believe off the top of my head, I'm going to say 19 rushing touchdowns in 2 years. That's impressive. And that's considering red zone struggles where he's been stuffed on the 1, on the 2, so he's, production wise, I believe he's a guy who can punch the ticket. He's physical. Drake is what we needed. We needed a guy that plants his foot once and doesn't want to get hit. I want my jersey clean. I want to scamper outside and get 24 yards and run out of bounds. I don't want anyone to even touch me. Like, I don't care. Like, I'm just here for explosion and quick decision making. And I don't need my jersey dirty. I don't need skid marks on my helmet in the first quarter giving up. Who cares? Like, you need a guy that's just going to evade people and be elusive. And that's what we have with Drake. I think it opens a playbook to so many things. Yeah. And I'm excited. They're both Alabama guys, so that's cool. They're like, they're through and through want this to succeed. Other thing is I think short yardage, goal-to-goal situations were still a problem. We kicked way too many field goals. I believe these two guys put threats that linebackers have to keep eyes on and open it up for Waller, Moreau to escape that second level. Also the young wide receiver core, but it's a great addition. And then it pushes a guy like Jalen being his money and situation, and Louis Riddick. We have other options, and I'm sure there'll be guys that we could sign that get cut. And it's like, well, we have a little extra money. or something to do. But exciting. I also think it would be so cool to see, like, 3rd and 2 on the 3-yard line, and you have like you rush in Mariota and shotgun, and on his left is Kenyon Drake, and on his right is Josh Jacobs, and we have a 2 tight end set, and we're like, you know what? Pick and choose. We got 3 guys that can hurdle this goal line, and we can dish it off to a tight end if you pinch. So there's things that can happen. At least we have the chess pieces. Gruden's not very creative at times, so
Sean, I was gonna bring you back to earth. He's gonna throw it to Leatherwood, and he's gonna put Leatherwood as a tight end.
Yeah. Right.
So
right.
let me just bring you back down to Gruden world. All right.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Oh.
Just let me dream a little, man. It's mid-June. Can I just enjoy a couple of months of thinking? But yeah.
How cool was it though back in the day when let's say back in the day, like 16 and 15 were like a long time ago, but when Musgrave used to roll out, he was roll out and give the ball to Donald Penn a couple of times to keep that creativity going. And as an offensive lineman, like that gets you like pumped. Like that gets you excited as hell. Like that could be me one day catching a touchdown pass from our quarterback, right?
I love fat boy touchdowns. That's like when you put your phone down and you just go to you make a chili cheese dog in the kitchen and you crack another beer and you just enjoy that. That's America. That's football, man. Fat boy touchdowns are what I live for.
I gotta ask you about your chili cheese dog. What are you putting on there? Hormel chili?
You have to put raw onion. I'm sorry, and then
raw onion.
I'll put jalapenos, hey man.
For some reason I can't do raw onion. But I do like onion. I love onions. I love sauteed.
Hey, I'm not gonna hate some sauteed onion rings on there, and
raw onion on your tacos can't go wrong, man.
I
did want to give before we get to the questions from our fans, and listen, thank you for listening to us on YouTube and all the podcast outlets as well. The Cover 3D Raider podcast. I did want to give Sean a couple of seconds to talk about, because we took a little bit of a break and we didn't talk about the death of Colt Brennan.
Oh yeah.
I know he meant a lot to you as a player, especially from the island of Hawaii. What are your thoughts about his passing?
Oh man, thanks for bringing that up. I could spend a lot of time on it, but in short term, like I was at University of Hawaii at Manoa that was my career. Colt was right at my age, so I watched someone pass away and deal with a lot of pressing issues. But I was there for the happiness. I was at Aloha Stadium. I was in for Halloween one year, and I was in Waikiki, and I had blonde shaved head with the island stenciled on the side of my head, and I could not walk more than 10 feet without someone telling me to take a picture with them. I mean, this is undefeated Heisman campaign with McFadden and Tebow. He was never going to win it, but it was peak football kind of stuff. So, and also he was a Raider. Once a Raider, always a Raider. Colt had a little short tenure as a Raider, didn't work out. He was fighting a lot of demons off the field. So I think in today's era, we look at mental health and awareness. Colt had to teach himself how to walk again. He was in a huge, terrible accident on the Big Island. It debilitated him. He addiction and mental health, and he was a lost person. I saw him on social media, and I knew one day this will happen. So just shout out to everybody out there. He was a football god to me, but just as a person, there's people fighting battles that they need some companionship to recover. And as big of a celebrity he was, as much as he accomplished and the money he made and all these things, it was never enough for him to find his content space in life. But I appreciate you asking that Dwayne. And yeah, man, it gives me goosebumps. Like that guy was, like a football god to me, like I said.
Yeah, and I always have a couple. I always have in my notes. I have like a couple things to talk about because a little bit off the beaten path. But I never removed it because I know that was something that happened. And
thank you. Yeah, awesome, man. R.I.P. Colt. Yep.
R.I.P. Definitely. 413. I got a text message from the 413 this week. He wants us to rank the quarterbacks in the AFC West.
I'll
So
go last or whatever.
I'll go
I already
first.
know. I already got.
I mean, we all know
I'll
who's
go
going to be
first.
first. We always know we know who's going to be last. It's really just two in the middle.
I'll go first.
Right?
Derek Carr, Marcus Mariota, Peterman, and then we'll throw in whoever's punting. Hunter Renfro. That's my four right there. No, you got to go Mahomes. You got to go Mahomes, Carr, and then Herbert. Herbert is definitely gunning for that number two spot, but I think Carr. I don't think he's as good as Carr yet. And then I don't even know what's his face, the Broncos quarterback.
Drew Lock.
That's how good he is. Drew Lock. Yeah, I don't even remember his name, but yeah, that's consensus. Come on.
It's pretty easy.
Do you guys really think Herbert's better than Carr? I mean, that's the discussion there.
I think the only thing I would say about it is I think that I got to see him do it another. I mean, this is another year.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
When we talked to Gilbert Manzano from Orange County Register, he talked about like this has been his MO his entire life as a quarterback, changing coordinators every single year. So I want to see how he does with they're doing it the college style. With the Chargers, it's going to be a running game coordinator and then a passing game coordinator. It won't be just one. It won't be who knows what voice he'll have in his ear because the head coach they have is a defensive head coach. I would go with kind of the same way you would go. Like I said, I know Paul Mahomes is the top of the line. I'll put Derek there for right now, and then put Herbert third, nipping at Derek's heels right now, and then and then at the bottom I will put whether it's Teddy Two Gloves or or Drew Lock out there.
Yeah, I'm easily committal to say Herbert at number 2. I'm not going to change number 1. I'm not going to change number 4. Carr's had 7 years in this league. Herbert had 1. He was a rookie who started on the sideline, not knowing he was even going to play football until a wrongful medical operation occurred. I mean, 5 rushing touchdowns, over 30 plus passing, 4,000. I mean, he's checked a lot of boxes, and people talk about all the time how the hardest position to play in this league as a rookie is the quarterback, and that season is up there with Carr's best. If you want to say it's this year, if you want to say, so I'm not committal to say. I'm much agreement with what Dwayne said. I need to see, right? I need to see in your second year, but I'm just saying, as far as the talent that pops off the film, yes, he has Keenan Allen. Yes, but he didn't have as good an offensive line, and he's able to make use of his frame. He's a big kid, 6'5", 6'6". He can run through you a little bit like Josh Allen. He can find things. I was like totally the person. I was like, I was begging the Chargers to basically draft him. I'll just admit it. I was like, oh, this kid, Oregon, the system, he pulled the ball down. He didn't do much. It was a 1-2 read thing. It's impressive for him to come and play in the league like he did. This isn't to degratify the things Carr does. I'm just saying, like, that season pops. Like, I look at my eye around the league. I was not expecting Herbert to throw for more touchdowns than Derek Carr in less games. And he did a great job. So to me, I'm going to go off, what have you done for me lately? Carr was great last year. So was Herbert. The only designation is Carr is a year 7 quarterback, year 3 in the same offense. And he basically didn't supersede a guy he's like barely has facial hair on his face, and he comes in the league.
Kid.
He looks like a kid, man. Every game I watched him, and I was going to pick him up in fantasy, and I never did that kind of, but I was like watching him, I'm like, is this guy really that good? And each week I was like, you know what?
You made some throws, man.
I was like, I did not expect it. So
for the record, on the ECN podcast, I did say that I wanted the Raiders to draft him and to see
if he fell.
If he fell, I wanted the Raiders to take him. So
that's a spicy take, because I honestly was like, I when the Chargers drafted him, I believe I tweeted like, great, I was like, oh my god.
I wanted him before he actually came out. I wanted him his not when he came out, the year before. I was like, because he was been argued for being top 2 draft pick or something like that at one point. And I started watching, because we know Dwayne, Pac-10. We watched the Pac-12 games, and I watched him play, and I'm like, this kid's good. Yeah.
I would say so the way Sean feels about Herbert is the way I felt about Tua. Like I wanted Tua to be a Charger so bad. I'm not big on Tua as a pro.
And
So
that's going to be I agree.
that's a pressure cooker situation because
Yes.
they've done everything to improve the players around him. So
Right.
I'm interested to see what happens
And,
in Miami.
and that's how I see it is I look at Herbert who came in, they didn't build the roster for him. They're moving on from Rivers. Like there was some veteran stuff in place, but Tua was like, you have to be the guy. And he was very mild. I'm not going to say he was terrible, but he was mild. Some players had some things to say on the roster. Now, I've
Yeah,
paid attention to it because he's a local product from Oahu, and he was incredible at Alabama. And he's a left-handed guy. His family's like everyone's playing D1. But yeah, like you talking about like Miami, that tough market again that's been bad for so long. They moved on from Tannehill. Looks like they maybe shouldn't have or
yeah,
whatever. But
yeah.
like now Tua's here, and it's like he's a little undersized. He's
Yep.
injury riddled. He's a left-hander. He's more of an ad libber, not a direct processor of the game. So something interesting to look at is how these quarterbacks get picked. Is like Herbert looks Jesus, and then Tua's like,
And
are they going to be drafting a quarterback next year or at the trade deadline? Are they going to be calling Aaron Rodgers or
to
Deshaun
that
Watson? I
to
don't
that
know.
to
I can
that
see
point
that. Yeah.
to that point they could have even because they made so many they had acquired so many
Draft
picks.
picks. Yeah,
It could have this draft taken another quarterback.
absolutely.
They had the
They
pick
could have
to do it.
done, yeah, they could have done what the Niners did. Like, I would let's just move up and get our guy.
Let's get our guy. Yeah. Eight from the 858 out here in San Diego. Who do you fear more going to the Broncos, Watson or Rodgers? Um, I mean, to me, I mean, is there a C? Is there a C to that question? Like A B C to that question? Like I think that would both be terrible for the Raiders, especially when you look at the talent that the Broncos do have, and they seem to be a team that is a quarterback away. Ken,
Yeah. I mean,
I love the sigh.
no, there was a lot to take in. You were on a roll, man.
Yeah.
I want to see what Sean says first. I'm gonna bow out. Go ahead, Sean.
Okay. I do believe there's separation here. Number one, because of the trend of what's happened in Denver, because what happened with Peyton. I'm gonna go
Yeah.
number one, Rodgers.
Rodgers, yeah.
I don't want to see him there.
Yep.
He's already an absolute first ballot Hall of Famer. So that worries me much more than a controversial off the field. There's so many other implications going on. Watson type of player who's absolutely incredible, but to me, it's Rodgers, and it also is because the skill position players on Denver. I know we're Raider fans, and I hate Denver. I'm just saying, if you look at that roster, if
Yeah.
you get a competent quarterback, O line, yeah, you're gonna have some issues with the O line. But Rodgers is a guy who's like, people don't look at him as a Watson, but like Rodgers will move around. Like he'll throw people open if they're not open because he's so damn accurate, and just his launch points with his arm are just so weird. Sidearm, overside, backside. He'll toss it to you. Rodgers scares me because he's a guy that comes in just like Peyton Manning did in Denver, and you're everything. The coach doesn't matter. The offensive coordinator doesn't matter. Rodgers would just, I have toys. They're young. They're fast. They're quick. I have Noah Fant. I have Judy. There's just so much around him. That would worry me. Watson, I would more so welcome because suspensions looming. Don't know off field. How long can this last? But yeah, it's a scary situation nonetheless because then that would really put, like, according to my ranking, would really put the 3/4 quarterback in the division. Carr would be Rodgers, Watson. Like, I'm sorry, does that? And you can argue the Herbert, but then Herbert and Carr are arguing for 3 and 4. That's just the reality. So scary.
Yeah,
No,
that's a
thank you.
lot. That's a lot to take in because it's so many what ifs. Um, I think one of you said Watson to Miami, which I think is more realistic for some reason. I don't know.
Possible.
And just to go back to that for 1 second, why don't they just start Fitzpatrick? Like, I don't get it.
Well,
Or
he's gone
That
now.
too.
he's
He's
a
a
red.
Redskin.
Well, no, why didn't they? Why didn't they just stick with him? I don't get
Well,
it. Like,
yeah, you're right. They had a winning record, and
yeah,
they had a bye week.
Fitzpatrick can play. I just never understood that. I don't know. Rogers, I don't think is going to go anywhere. I really don't think he's going to go anywhere. But why would he? Like, I mean, they're going to work that out. You got to work that out. But if he did come to the Broncos, it would suck. It would suck bad. But if he did, I mean, I like Rodgers more than I like Mahomes. I don't know what it is. I think that you look at some of those game winners, you think how he leads a team. Mahomes gets kind of skittish if he's getting, look at what we did to him. Look what the Raiders did to him, And
Yeah.
so I think that Rodgers maybe, if he came into the division, he'd be number one. I really believe that. I truly believe that.
You're going to see a really cool breakdown. I believe the Tape Don't Lie guys broke down how he struggles against 3 safety looks. And it looks like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the defensive coordinator who used to coach the Jets, I forgot his name off the top of my head, but the last time he looked as bad as he did was at Texas Tech against an opponent who did what they did with the 3 safety look. So they were able to do that in the Super Bowl, and Mahomes didn't look Mahomes like. I just want to say a couple of things about Watson and then Rodgers. Watson, who is not suspended yet or anything like that, what he should really do if he really wants to get out of Texas would be to show up to all the mandatory stuff. Let the team lock him out. Let the league force the league's hand in making a decision. If you really want to get traded, him staying away, it's easy for the Texans and easy for the league to just say, "Oh, we're not gonna." It's a problem that we don't have to worry about as far as that goes.
Good point.
And I also would say this about Rodgers. I thought Rodgers was like more of like a tough like an OG. Like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I didn't think he was like, oh, I'm gonna wear a shirt that says I'm offended, stuff like that. I mean, directed toward, like, he does so much stuff through his agent. Like, you need to have a press. Like the whole thing with Kenny Mayne, the couple interviews he did with Kenny Mayne.
Oh yeah.
Half the interviews were about Jeopardy. Like it was like this whole tongue in cheek thing. Like, that's why I don't take Rodgers serious about his desire to play somewhere else, because if he has that desire, he should really come out in the press conference and say, I'm not going to play another down for the Packers. He knows he's going to be back, so that's why he's just playing this hardball thing as far as that goes.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Although with the kind of 2 things I kind of see in those situations, Watson should just show up and force the league's hand. And then as far as Rodgers goes, just put your chest out and say, I don't want to be here anymore, if you really don't want to be here.
Yeah, and that's interesting. I think Rodgers, at the end of the day, if Denver is probably the spiciest trade destination for him, he's got to look at his division. Lions, who have Jared Goff, which, come on now.
Oh my God.
Vikings. Okay, Kirk Cousins.
Solid team.
Serviceable.
Solid. He's serviceable in my mind.
Could win 10 games.
In my mind, he's 3-4, rankings away in the same cloud as Derek and Tannehill and those kind of guys. Mm-hmm. And then you have, which in Chicago looks like, they'd be trying to roll the rookie out as quick as possible.
Yeah.
So if I'm Rodgers, my division is more winnable. I go to the AFC West, and if he's a member on Denver, that might be the best 4 quarterback division in the league. I mean, you're talking Carr, Herbert, Mahomes, and Rodgers. Talk about the amount of credentials you have there outside of Herbert, who's, he's a rookie, but as a rookie shit, right? And Carr, what he's done statistically, and Mahomes, what he's done winning and Super Bowl, and the youngest player to ever win, MVP. I mean, Andy Reid behind. I mean, why would he do that? That'd be too much of a challenge, I think, regardless of how much he pretends to not like his situation in Green Bay. And at his age, why would he want to go somewhere where he might, not make the playoffs? Like, that would not look good. So I think he'll stay home.
Very valid. Very valid. I think so too. I mean, how many more years does he have left?
Right.
You know, I
I don't.
mean, that's true.
Jeopardy, right? His Jeopardy role is waiting, right? So
Love
Jeopardy,
Jeopardy.
Jeopardy role is waiting, no question about it. Cover Three Raider podcast. I'm gonna sign off here. Great show for you guys. You know, getting back in the groove, second week in a row. So we're getting you back in the groove. Ken, how you wanna end the show for us? In your Ken Monster Mash Ken fashion here.
Yeah, yeah. I love talking to you guys. I love talking Raider football. But I'm curious. I wanted to ask you guys who's going to the NBA Finals, man.
Jesus Lord, this year
Ah, right.
it's
He's not
nuts.
playing. He's not playing.
It's
Jesus,
nuts.
Jesus Shuttleworth not playing.
No, he's hurt. He's hurt. He's hurt. Like every superstar in the NBA Finals,
Yeah.
in NBA playoffs.
I like the
Uh,
Suns, man. I like the Suns. Got to go with
I,
the home team. I love the Knicks. You know, I was begging for the Knicks. I'm so
I'll let Sean
disappointed.
go first. Go ahead.
yeah, I don't have a spicy take here. But I will say that I'm rooting for the Suns. I think looking at fans, I know I know the Knicks and there's other franchises that are terrible that now have a shot, but I think the Suns just have something about them. It's caught my eye, and Booker is just incredible.
No, man. Yeah.
And hey, rep to you, Ken. I mean, he's a Mexican. He's the best Mexican
He's
player
Hispanic.
ever bounced the ball. I mean, this guy is playing out of his mind. So I'm rooting for the
Chris Paul
Suns.
too, man. Chris Paul in there.
And Chris,
old
yeah,
man Chris.
well, COVID, yeah, we'll see.
We'll see what happens with
I
that.
think
Yeah.
that the biggest issue. I mean, I was really rooting for the. I really wanted to see the Sixers.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because
Ben
Simmons.
the city of Philadelphia, they love the Sixers, so I kind of want to see that. I do like what the Suns are doing. I don't like out indefinitely, like as far as Chris Paul goes, because Chris Paul is one of the biggest reasons why they're in the situation they're in. The way, even though there's no Kawhi Leonard anymore, I think it's going to be Clippers Nets, and I think it's going to be I think that's going to be the series, and I just don't. I don't see a team being able to beat the Nets. I hope the Hawks can do it. I hope the Bucks can do it. But if they can get through this series and get Kyrie back, they've already got Harden back.
Oh, yeah.
It's just really
It's
difficult.
a wrap.
And if you look at the Nets team play, that supporting cast is
Special,
way better than anybody could imagine. And Blake Griffin is playing great basketball too. So Blake Griffin's doing a good job as well. So.
Super teams, welcome to our new millennial life in the NBA.
I mean, it is what it is.
If only football players before the trade deadline could just say, "Well, let's all go to the Raiders or the freaking this team." It's a weird sport, man. The NBA has just faded from. It's hard the officiating, the player movements a little too frequent. It's just like but I guess it creates more parity at some point. I'll take anything. We're not watching the Warriors and Cavs again. We're not watching like these same. So I guess it's good for the game, but I don't know, man.
I think as long as last thing I'll say about that is as long as the talent is spread out through the country. Like
it's better for the game.
Yeah, Giannis stayed in Milwaukee, like all those things like that. So that's always good as well. So listen, and I would say one thing before we go, that there's a team in the Bay Area, Orange and Black, that has the best record in baseball. I'm just saying, there's some good Giants.
San Francisco, Baltimore Orioles. Oh, yeah, San Francisco. I didn't know which Bay Area.
It's been a long time since the Baltimore Orioles had the best record in baseball. It's been a long time. I think we're both
Cal Ripken Jr. days, probably. Yeah.
Eddie Murray. All right, guys. Take care. Raider Nation.
Take care, guys. Peace.
Thank you. Peace. We out.
Peace.